clever bug. The Kongversation.
Of course, on Earth Ape, the character of Donkey Kong isn't a tie-wearing gorilla. It's an anthropomorphic necktie named Dapper, who wears a tie clip in the shape of a gorilla. The games are deeply unpopular here.
Hello, and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Hyle Russell.
And I am Dustin Jackson.
Dustin, hold up. Wait a second. Let me get a good look at you here.
Get a good long look.
I have my little pocket flashlight. I'm looking at your eyeballs right now. Let me feel you, because you don't look too well right now. So let me.
Is my forehead warm?
Well, let me see. I'm not feeling your forehead. Feeling your
Should
arm.
I cough?
I'm feeling your arm. Let me explain.
Oh.
I'm afraid, I don't know how to tell you this, but I've got to diagnose you.
Oh, no.
I've got to diagnose you with Mario Tennis elbow.
Oh, no. That's the worst elbow to have.
You've got a bum elbow now, I'm afraid. Probably by sticking it up your bum so much. Is it tender?
I understand.
Is it does it hurt? Is it sore? Will you be able to do a podcast with me?
I mean, it's extremely tender, but not any more than usual. So I think I'll be able to get through this.
Oh yeah, maybe on second thought, you have just been doing every episode of the Kongversation that you've been on with a tennis elbow these last several years, and it really doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, I should have brought that up before.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. We don't generally have to take any big swings, except when we predict that there's going to be a big mainline internally developed Donkey Kong game coming out instead of a 3D Mario game.
And then it's usually right within a couple years.
Right. So, it's fine. It works out in the end. Hold on, Dustin.
Yeah.
You also look a little warm. Let me just take your temperature. Oh, no! You've got the Mario Tennis fever!
God damn it. That was exactly what I didn't want to have.
Yes. On this episode of The Kongversation, Dustin and I will be giving our first impressions on the latest Cameo Game featuring both Donkey and Diddy Kong, Mario Tennis Fever. I've got some thoughts about this one, Dustin. Do you have any thoughts?
Oh, I got some thoughts, Hyle. Believe you me, I've got some thoughts.
That's good, because if you said no, I was like, well, this is going to be a really painful episode then. I'm really just going to be talking out a wall then.
I just don't react to anything you say. You're like, yeah, and so the tennis mechanics, really good here. I really like them. And I just go,
That's honestly more nuanced and thoughtful than any of my real observations. That's good. I should jot that down. Talk about tennis mechanics. Okay.
Tennis
all right.
feel good.
Good. All right. Before we get into it, Dustin, really quick, great job on the album artwork for the Kongversation Season 14.
Oh, thank you, Hyle. Thank you for having me do it. It was a lot of fun to do. I'm pretty happy with the way it came out.
I am happy with the way it came out, too. For those who don't know, it is the Banandium root, or it's a depiction of the Banandium root from off of Donkey Kong Bonanza with a little golden microphone in the middle, because this is a podcast. And
oh yeah,
I pitched this to Dustin right when season 13 ended. I was like, all right, Dustin, we're on our little between season hiatus right now, but here's my vision for the season 14 album artwork. This very complicated depiction of what lies at the heart of creation. Just do that. Just do that.
That should be fine, right? And at the time, I was like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. That's easy.
Yeah. Sometimes I give an art project to Dustin or Cameron, or a commission. I do pay them for these, but I give them a project and, I'm thinking in my Luddite way, oh yeah, this should be simple for a talented artist like them. But then sometimes I bite off more than they can chew. I'm trying to feed it to them like a mother bird. And as I regurgitate these ideas into their waiting, expectant mouths, sometimes they choke a little bit. Yeah, but you pulled it out in the end, and
oh, thank you.
And then you finished the artwork.
Oh, Hyle. See, that's the kind of gold I come to the conversation for.
Vanadium gold at that. So if you want to wear Dustin's artwork, we did turn it into a t-shirt yet again on the DK Vine merchandise store at dkvine.com/merchandise. It's through TeePublic. That's the vendor. So, it's got the full faith and credit of teepublic.com, but, you can get it in both the regular Kongversation album artwork design or the stripped down, just the Vanadium root look if you feel too self-conscious wearing a shirt advertising DK Vine's The Kongversation.
Yeah, that can just be your little secret if you want it to be.
Nobody knows but you. It's your little kink as you walk out, the grocery store or whatever. It's like, tee-hee, nobody knows that I'm a sicko.
I listen to The Kongversation and they have no idea.
Of course, other people do listen to The Kongversation besides perverts. It's everybody in our live stream chat right now, and I assume most of them aren't perverts. Hello to March Rose, hello to me, Muppet, Porygon Q, just Andre.
Yeah, what brings you all here?
Probably us talking about Mario Tennis Fever, just a hunch.
Oh, I don't get it myself, but, to each their own.
Hopefully you'll be able to explain it to yourself before the end of the episode.
Oh, people listen to people when they talk? Huh.
Yeah. Of course, you can listen live as we record The Kongversation by becoming a DK Vine patron at the the $5 and up tiers. You don't have to be a $10 patron. You can. You'll still get in. But anybody $5 and up will be able to listen to these live as we record them.
Right, and why, that's like the price of a relatively cheap drink nowadays.
Nowadays, that's cheaper than a fast food meal. That's cheaper than most things, honestly. Should I raise the price?
That's a gallon of gas.
Am I giving it away for dirt cheap prices? No, actually, I've got to hold steady. I've got to hold steady against inflation, against shrinkflation, against all deflations. I really have to just say, you know what? We are not raising our prices because somebody has to take a stand.
Right. I think we can put an end to it, and it starts here.
We're going to lead by example here at dkvine.com, the most respected institution on the World Wide Web.
Right. I always knew we were changing the world for the better.
I like to think we are. Yeah, just baby steps. Speaking of baby steps, though, Mario Tennis Fever. I have spent more time playing as Baby Mario than I ever expected I would in my lifetime with this game. Unexpected surprises here, because Mario Tennis Fever was released for the Switch 2 on February 12th of this year. It's the second Cameo game of this new era of the DKU. And it's the first to come after the release of Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Wow. What a time we live in.
It is a time for sure, for many, many reasons other than Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is the most positive aspect of this time that we live in. But, in many respects, because of the renewal of the Donkey Kong series, we finally got the EPD developed Donkey Kong game. It was brilliant, pleased most fans. And because of everything being on the upswing for Donkey Kong at the moment, this is the first
like
time.
Tennis.
Like tennis, or like King of.
Yeah, that was going to be the next thing I was going to say.
Yeah, this is the first time for me that a Cameo game has felt like they traditionally felt. I'm talking about when these were new, when the concept of putting the modern Donkey Kong in one of these Mario games was still fresh. 1990s, early aughts. Because my perspective on Cameo games, you know how hot and cold I run on this stuff, Dustin.
I know.
Sometimes I'll be looking forward to a Cameo game for reasons, usually very specific reasons, but most of the time I do a little belly aching. I'm like, I don't want to play this. Oh, why are you putting Donkey Kong in this Mario game? I don't want to do it. I don't want it. I want just more Donkey Kong games. And it's a bit different when Donkey Kong has a stable, reliable development home rather than being adrift, out at sea, lost in the wilderness, couch surfing, as I often called it. You know,
you have a vision you can latch on to.
Yeah, well, I sort of felt this way about Cameo Games again shortly after Donkey Kong Country Returns was released, because I thought, oh, you know, maybe this is going to be a stable, reliable development home for Donkey Kong at Retro Studios.
And then it wasn't.
Well, you know, when it became clear that the pace of new games under Retro was ultimately going to be slow and paltry and maybe not extending beyond 2, I think the general ennui of Cameo Games set in for me once again, where I look at our games page and just see a sea of Mario titles, one after another, with nary a Donkey Kong title to break it up. And when Donkey Kong is doing well as a standalone franchise, I think Cameo Games, well, it's complicated because on one hand, I think I'm more jazzed for Donkey Kong in general. So I'm like, yeah, give me this game with Donkey Kong in it. Hell yeah. You know, let me whack a ball around as Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong. I'm for it, because everything is going well with the Donkey Kong brand right now. So I don't mind this little deviation, this little, dance with the darkness, if you will. But when, you know, Donkey Kong is doing well, I don't really need these games to get my DK fix, do I? I'm still playing Donkey Kong Bonanza on the regular. I'm still just popping in and just goofing off in the game, or arranging my statues on Donkey Kong Island to create like different character sets, or playing Emerald Rush, or playing the Emerald Rush events.
I was just about to say, like, I really love Emerald Rush. I'm surprised how much I've gotten into it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it to hit so hard with me, and Bonanza was already my second favorite game of all time when Emerald Rush was announced. So I think, you know, I'm just kind of a mixed mind when it comes to it, because when I don't need a Mario game to spend time with the Kongs, I think I just realize, oh, all I'm doing is playing a Mario game right now to get what is ostensibly a watered down fix for the Kongs, right? Like, I need a hit. I need a Donkey Kong hit, but this has kind of been cut with all of this Mario nonsense, and it's not as big of a high as something that, like Donkey Kong Bonanza. And I know that's not fair, because Donkey Kong Bonanza is developed by EPD. It's a 3D platformer with a big, grandiose climax that honors the entire history of the series. This is a tennis game, you know, you can't really compare them. And I'm not directly comparing this to Bonanza. I'm just saying Bonanza kind of sets the benchmark for what Donkey Kong can be in this era. And then you have to just go back to a Cameo game then. And here's Donkey Kong, here's Diddy bouncing around these Mushroom Kingdom tennis courts. And it's like, oh yeah, it's fine. Now, saying all of that, you know, like, what am I supposed to be feeling when I pick up Mario Tennis Fever? Thankfully, Camelot, the developers of the tennis and golf games, they've always been my favorite traditional Cameo game developer. I say traditional, like, I'm not including Smash Brothers in this. I'm not including any, like, one-offs or, like, special
You just
cases.
mean like the usual suspects.
The usual suspects.
The tennis, the golf.
The ones we get generally every console generation. And I think that given Camelot's philosophies, they usually align or get pretty close to my own. They're almost rare-like sometimes in the way they do world building and just kind of go that extra mile when crafting these games. And they clearly love and respect Donkey Kong as a series and as a character. And they were the first to jump on putting Diddy in a Cameo game. back
Good
in
for them.
2003. Yeah. And they even publicly said at one point how much they would like to develop a 3D Donkey Kong game. So that
I would love to see that, just because I really have nothing to latch onto from Camelot other than these games.
Yes. I mean, for me, these games, they're always the story of two types. There have been the console games, and then there were the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance games for golf and tennis that were basically RPGs.
Right.
And I really like those. I love those. And, you know, I still like the console games, more or less. And
They're just a little more straightforward.
they're a little bit more straightforward, although they have been trying to mix it up a little bit since Mario Tennis Aces on the Switch by incorporating an adventure mode. And I would say this is the big initial draw of Mario Tennis Fever. Well, maybe not, because I think ultimately most gamers will probably just stick to the standard tennis matches, but they might play through adventure mode. It's there if you want it. And
Yeah.
for me, it's kind of the crux of it. It actually kind of serves as a prelude to the normal tournaments and other modes. Like, you can play it and it's sort of, it's set before they actually start doing the actual trophy competitions. So this is an evolution of what they did in Mario Tennis Aces, where, I mean, Mario Tennis Aces adventure, that in and of itself was kind of bonkers. The directions that took, I mean, getting into like ancient tennis spirits and all of this nonsense. And this one is a little bit more, well, it's not traditional because this is also plenty bonkers, but this is almost, I would say the first third of it or so is a light recreation of what Camelot did on the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance RPGs, where you are in a tennis academy, you are trying to learn the game, you're going through the various classes and trying to graduate to become a tennis champion. But the difference here is that, you know, you are playing as a version of Mario, whereas in those games you're playing as an original character, an original human character who was trying to become as good as the legendary Mario, you know, and this one kind of subverts that formula a little bit. And I sort of admire what Camelot did in this because it's very incoherent and mad with what the story is. And I still can't quite fathom what any of it means, if anything.
Yeah.
Like, is this an analogy for something? What are they trying to communicate to us? Because it just zigs and zags in so many odd directions. It almost feels like a stream of consciousness past a story.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into what the story is, but even just from the beginning, I don't think it's a spoiler to say, people at this point know that it starts with Daisy getting sick with something.
Yeah.
But then babies happen.
Babies do be happening. If you're not careful, if you're not using precautions, babies can happen. And yeah, this starts with the core characters convening for yet another Mario Tennis tournament. It's like, oh, the Switch 2 is out. We better have a Mario Tennis or a Mario Golf or something. We better get it together here. And then, yeah, it immediately takes a swerve with Daisy nearly succumbing to a mystery illness. And I mean, this is, it's hilarious and it's been memed aplenty in the month plus since this game was released, but it literally starts with her bedridden and all of the characters surrounding her looking forlorn and worried that she is near death. And nobody knows what's wrong with her. And this is my first objection, Dustin, because
okay,
we know that Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, and Donkey Kong, the characters gathered around her bedside, they all have medical degrees because they were all doctors in Dr. Mario World. Or, yeah, the mobile game. Remember that?
Yeah, oh, I remember it all right, Hyle. How could I forget?
And here's the other thing. They're all gathered around her bedside, but none of them are wearing masks. And I'm sorry. I know COVID, it's kind of been memory hold what that was like a scant 6 years ago now. But I don't know. All of these characters canonically raced around the world in the year 2020. Mario Kart Tour, anyone? That game was just entering its second year at the height of the pandemic. And surely those characters, when traveling the world, had to adhere to rigorous masking and social distancing policies. They should know better than this. And I am really let down that Donkey Kong in particular doesn't know better.
It's a shame, really. They're wasting these degrees.
I mean, the amount of communicable diseases that can jump from humans to other primates or vice versa. Donkey Kong does not want to bring back an illness to Donkey Kong Island and ravage the community. It would be apocalyptic. And so it's like, put on a fucking mask, Donkey Kong, or at least wrap your tie around your mouth and nose. Do something in this situation. And like, will Donkey and Diddy then have to enter quarantine immediately after Mario Tennis Fever? Like when they return home with all their little gold trophies, will they then have to like be locked up for a month?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good. That's the DLC I want to see. Like everybody's like, oh, I hope they add more characters with DLC. I hope they add more courts with DLC. And I'm like, I just want a mode where it's just Donkey and Diddy sitting in a like medical tent staring at the wall.
I was going to say, you have walls. You could still play tennis.
Anyway, the Daisy illness is never explained. What she has, how she got it, where it came from, why none of the other characters are sick. I guess this is like unique to her kingdom, and she just brought it with her, but it's never explained. It's just justification for the real plot of the game, which is instigated when Wario and Waluigi claim there's a magic golden fruit nearby on a like island to the north that resembles an apple, grows on a tree, and it can apparently instantly cure Daisy, and according to them, and I quote, "It'll fix her right up. Don't ask how."
It just will, okay?
It just will. And again, these characters have all had some level of medical training, and nobody seems to question this. Like Wario and Waluigi, not the most trustworthy of sources for this group of characters. And how powerful is this golden fruit? Can it cure all diseases? Because then maybe we should, I don't know, bring back a little bit more than what we need to feed Daisy. Maybe we should synthesize this. Maybe we should turn this into a vaccine that could, you know, cure all pestilence and disease.
Hyle, you think we could have something like that when Big Pharma would be breathing down their necks?
Well, yeah, and then RFK Jr. would just say, no, what you really need to do is just take a dip with the Great Mighty Pooh over in the Panther Kingdom.
That'll cure you right up. So
these are the questions I had as Mario Tennis Fever's adventure. So I kept having to like stop and it was like, wait a second. What about this? What about this past instance of Mario continuity and canon?
Right. So 4.5 hours later, you finally got to the game.
Yeah, I've actually spent more time in Mario Tennis Fever than I did Donkey Kong Bonanza at this point because I just
mostly questioning the logic.
I had my blackboard up. I was trying to make it all make sense. I was like, well, does Dr. Mario have some pills he could just chuck at Daisy? Has he tried that? Maybe that happened before we actually caught up with him in the story.
That's his standard B move in Smash Brothers. You think it would be easy.
Just chuck those pills. She doesn't even need to swallow them. She just apparently needs to get hit with them. And
yeah, just absorb them.
So anyway, long story short, Wario and Waluigi propose using Peach's airship to go harvest the fruit on this remote, mysterious island, right? So,
right.
Donkey Kong and Peach, they lower Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi down into the cavern where this fruit grows. Of course, Wario and Waluigi, they have an ulterior motive. They really just wanted to retrieve some treasure that's apparently been said to be nearby this fruit. And so they just wanted the gems. And unfortunately, though, as they kind of sneak away while Mario and Luigi are retrieving the apple, they get into the treasure chamber, and it's filled with monsters, of course. Now, they call them monsters, but the way they were depicted in the opening cinematic, they were just fuzzies.
Yeah, you've dealt with fuzzies before.
You've dealt with these lots of times. Like, why are you freaking out so much? This would be like me seeing a cockroach in a grotto somewhere. I'd be like, oh shit, there's a cockroach. I mean,
I don't like it, but I'm not,
but I know what it is.
Running.
I'm not going to freak out. But maybe they should have been freaking out about fuzzies and other creatures. There will be light spoilers in this discussion, but we won't get into it yet. But the monsters do chase down the 4 dungaree-loving characters who are down there, and Donkey Kong, pulls them up. There's the big hero moment of Donkey Kong pulling them up single-handedly with the rope. But then the monsters catch up to them, and they web up the lead 4 characters and Peach, and they de-age them all into babies for some reason. And this is never adequately explained either, why they de-age them into babies, why this is a thing, again, maybe I need to go back into it and look for all of the hidden meanings and allegories that Camelot is trying to tell with this story. I did not actually pick up on the plot coherence of any of this.
Right. It's above our heads. It's not for us to know. It's for the smarties out there.
Well, I don't know. I mean, these are all doctors and they don't really handle this situation in any professional capacity. But anyway, so everybody but Donkey Kong and Daisy, who is still on her deathbed, have been turned into babies. And so they return to the Mario Tennis Academy, the Mushroom Tennis Academy, where the Mario Tennis tournament is taking place. And basically they're like, oh no, Mario is a baby, Luigi is a baby. How do we solve this? Well, I guess the only thing we can do is retrain them to use their little baby bodies to play tennis, and then go back to the monsters and tennis them real good. And hopefully,
that's all we can do.
Hopefully, by tennising the hell out of them, tennising, that's not a verb, but we're going to go with it. By tennising the monsters, they will then give up their proper ages and restore them to normal. And that's the plot of Mario Tennis Fever.
I mean, makes sense to me.
It's so dumb, and I love how dumb it is. It's almost like self-consciously idiotic, and it's almost the kind of fanon type explanation I would have come up with for one of these games as a kid.
Oh, give yourself a little credit.
No. This is right up there with the Chest of Time, buddy.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true.
So maybe my ideas aren't so stupid after all. Maybe they're just baseline stupid with the rest of Nintendo.
Hey, yeah, maybe they're only just kind of stupid.
So then that segues into adventure proper, where you spend the first, I said third of the game. Maybe it's a little bit longer, maybe it's a little bit less. It certainly felt plenty long. you spend it in the Mushroom Tennis Academy. And this is the part of adventure that I think it both drags the longest, but it's also maybe the most concise, coherent part of the whole adventure mode, because it is effectively an abridged version of what we got on those Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance games back in the day. And I kind of enjoyed this part of adventure the most, even if it got plenty repetitive by the end.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, we just streamed the Mario Tennis GBA game not that long ago. That was my first time ever playing it, and as soon as we booted this up, I said, I'm getting some Mario Tennis GBA vibes.
Yeah, again, in those games, Mario only really appeared, aside from outside of the story mode, Mario only appeared at the end of the games. He was this mythical sporting figure. In the tennis parlance, he would be like Arthur Ashe, or I guess a more contemporary example would be Venus and Serena Williams. You know, like just somebody who's a really famous tennis player, ignoring all the other things Mario is famous for in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, what can't Mario do at this point?
Do you remember Bo Jackson in the early 90s, Dustin?
I think so.
He was the baseball player that was also the football player.
Oh.
And, like, he wasn't, like, the best at either sport, but the fact that he was a, like, sport polyathlete, like, it was, like, a big deal at the time, and, like, Nike signed an endorsement deal with him, and it was like, Bo knows baseball, Bo knows football, yeah, stuff like that. And, that's what Mario is in the Mushroom Kingdom. He's just like this can do no wrong, amazing athlete, adventurer, hero, doctor. No wonder my generation and younger have like imposter syndrome, because we don't feel like we're ever good enough because we live in the shadow of Mario's example.
Right. I don't have like 20 spin-off games where I do different things perfectly.
Maybe that's why I always gravitated towards the Kongs and was always trying to take Mario down a peg or two in these games, is because I kind of validated my own self-worth, my own self-esteem by seeing Mario humiliated.
Yeah, not so happy now, are you?
But anyway.
Not so wahoo smiley.
Mamma mia, indeed. Mario's been de-aged. And nobody but the faculty of the Mushroom Tennis Academy know that he's the real Mario, or that he's the real Luigi. As far as anybody else in the Academy knows, these are just babies who really love Mario and Luigi and are living the Mario and Luigi lifestyle by dressing as them.
You have to get them started at birth so they're buying their products throughout the rest of their lives.
Yeah, like, I don't have kids, Dustin. But if I did, this would be like me just slapping a Donkey Kong tie or a DD pin on them as a baby and being like, yeah, this is your whole identity. This is your whole personality now. You are
all about this.
You're the Diddy Kong kid now, son. So that's what they think, like, all of the other students at the Academy, that's what they think Baby Mario and Baby Luigi are. And this is a rare instance, too, of working in the baby characters in a way that isn't just time paradox nonsense that gets hand-waved away and not really addressed. Like, I think since, like, outside of the games that take place in the Yoshi's Island timeline, like that point in the characters' backstories, I think they've only done this like twice now with Mario Tennis Fever, because there's that Mario and Luigi game where they like teamed up their baby selves.
Yeah, Partners in Time.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
So yeah, like, I like that in this instance, the baby characters are actually the adult characters. They retain the memories of the adult characters, but they are just put in prepubescent infant forms. And it does raise some questions about what they know how to do, what they biologically are still capable of doing. Like, they are wearing diapers. So the question is, do they retain the knowledge of being potty trained, or are their little baby bodies just so weak and fragile that they actually just shit their pants?
I was thinking they were shitting like the whole time.
I mean, maybe they do know how to get to the toilet, but they're like, when in Rome, I'm not going to get this opportunity again until I'm elderly, Mario. And
when am I going to get to do this again?
I mean, I'm going to live the high life right now. I mean, this whole situation sucks. I'm a baby again. But on the other hand, look at this comfort and convenience right here. If I was Mario, Luigi, and Peach, I would be like, oh, sweet. I've just had my lifespan extended by several decades at this point. Like, if I could just become a baby again, it would be a really irritating 10 to 18 years. Like, once you get through puberty, you're good to go. But it would be like, oh, I get a second go at life, and I also retain everything I've learned the first time
that's
around.
the big one. That's the big one. Like, if you just remember everything up until now, but that you just have the time to do it again, how would school work? Would you have to do school again, or since you already graduated, would it be okay?
I think you would just lie low until you're a legal adult again, and even then, you you could still have your ID. All your government records would be retained. So
right, your DNA would be the same. So if they wanted to do a blood test, they wouldn't say yeah, you are who you say you are.
I think you just need to stay in the shadows long enough so you're not dissected in a lab where these tech oligarchs who are looking for immortality try to reverse engineer what happened to you. So what I'm arguing here is, what is the big deal? They got the fruit back to Daisy, by the way. So Daisy isn't even part of the drama at this point. So the drama then becomes, we need to restore ourselves to our proper age. But I'm like, hold up. Why? Just play it cool for a decade.
I guess in this specific instance, in our world, it would be fine. I would be like, okay, well, I am a little baby again, but I remember everything. Nothing's different other than I need someone to help me get the cookies off the fridge. But, in this world, in Mario world, who is gonna stop Bowser? Mario and Luigi are the ones who always come in and save the day. I think if they're babies, no matter how skilled they are at tennis, the Mushroom Kingdom's pretty fucked.
Okay, but there's always, Daisy's gonna get better. Rosalina's still there.
Right.
Yoshi.
Donkey Kong stayed the same, but he's got his own shit he has to deal with all the time.
Yeah, he does have his own shit he has to deal with all the time. I thought you said shitty ass he has to deal with. And I was like, yeah, with that fur, it would be a constant cleaning regimen. I really imagine Donkey Kong utilizes bidets because you don't want any dingleberries in that asshole, right?
Yeah, he has good anal hygiene.
Yeah, I always say that about Donkey Kong.
That's the first thing I say about Donkey Kong.
My non-existent child, who I'm training to be a Donkey Kong fanatic, that's the first thing I taught them. So it would be their first words, in fact.
8 bidets in the house.
I haven't found Donkey Kong's toilet in Bonanza in the DLC on DK Island, but I'm still looking. Because I know
it's got to be somewhere.
I know he's got a bidet on there. But anyway, my point is, yeah, there are other heroes beyond these three, like Mario, Luigi, and Peach. And then, there's so many Kongs. I'm sure they could work out this exchange program. Okay, you can get Chunky, Lanky, and Tiny for the next 6 months. They'll be on Mushroom Kingdom duty, and everybody else will be on Rare Archipelago duty, where we're keeping it safe from K. Rool and Tiki Tonk and Lord Frederick and what have you. So, there are options. Hell, even if all the Kongs had to come to the Mushroom Kingdom to save the day, then I'm sure they could get Banjo or Kazooie on loan on DK Island.
That's true. Maybe we'd get some more games that way.
Really, I think it's just selfish of Mario and Luigi. They could have just taken themselves off the board for a good solid 15 to 18 years and then just let some other characters, both in Nintendo and outside of Nintendo, have the time to shine. Really, shame on them.
We'd be on Banjo-Kazooie 7 at this point.
So the only thing I could think of is Daisy wasn't de-aged, so therefore Luigi wouldn't want to stay a baby because his significant other is still an adult and things would get very, very uncomfortable very quickly.
That is true. That is a good reason.
Otherwise, you have to hold Daisy back and also have her get attacked by the monsters.
You can wait for me like another 15 years, right?
Yeah, and then, we get into like Grandma Daisy and then like
the newest character.
Yeah. Anyway, these are all my thoughts. And then, again, 40 hours in and I still haven't played a single round of tennis. So anyway, Mario basically has to rebuild his little baby body. So does Luigi, but Luigi is the doubles partner throughout most of the early parts of adventure mode. You're playing as Mario, more or less, and you've got to relearn your tennis skills, graduate from the Mushroom Tennis Academy, and then go on a very narrow tennis-based journey to restore Mario's proper age. It's a weird time. Again, I don't hate it. I admire how bizarre it truly is. Like, what the hell are we doing here?
What's happening here?
This feels like, again, a stream of consciousness fan fiction by like a tween me. Like this doesn't feel in any way like an actual canonical story from Nintendo.
No, but here we are.
Here we are indeed. So once you graduate the Mushroom Tennis Academy, and this got a little bit old once you were starting to like advance the different like ranks, and you just have to do the same thing over and over and over again. And there's also like the quizzes you have to go back to take in the like main academy building. It's like, oh, what is this type of tennis shot called? And you're like, shit, I don't remember any of this shit. I press the button. I mashed the button and it makes it go. And I mean, I do like that they actually try to teach the player actual tennis terms and like different maneuvers and strategies. And I like that it kind of forces the player to learn something about the sport. But at the same time, it's hard to commit to learning the more dry technical terminology when the story itself is so fanciful and weird.
Yeah, I don't really care that much to learn tennis terms.
Yeah.
I didn't up until this point.
I do like the overall structure. I feel like they could have balanced it a little bit better and they could have made it a little bit more varied. I did level Baby Mario up to level 100 before I even left the Mushroom Tennis Academy. I palette taunted.
Pretty cool.
I palette taunted Dustin. I just went back and forth into the same like training matches and got him to level 100. So I had a beast of a Baby Mario to explore the wider world outside of the academy.
I'm very happy for you.
It was a waste of time, Dustin. I
didn't want to be the one to say it.
I didn't know where this was going, right? I didn't know where the story would take me. And I just thought, I am who I am. Let's get him to level 100. It didn't take that long, honestly. And so I'm thinking I would have hit level 100 more or less quickly out of the tennis academy, but all the same.
Yeah, you know what, Hyle? I can't tell you how to play video games. All I can do is feel bad about them.
Once you get out of the Mushroom Tennis Academy, you then go on a voyage back to where that golden fruit was. And the actual term of the place is the Valley of the Monsters, which I feel
Love
like
that
should have been a
movie.
red flag from the start.
Yeah, maybe they shouldn't have gone to the Valley of the Monsters.
Like, I don't know, Daisy, maybe you should just learn to wash your hands before touching your face.
Yeah, come on, it's that easy.
So, you go back, and the whole purpose is to defeat the monsters with the power of tennis, and
Obviously.
age Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, and Peach back up to their traditional forms, because they have a red carpet premiere at the beginning of April. They've got to be ready. Well, maybe not Wario and Waluigi; they might not be in it, but 3/5 of those characters, they have to be ready for the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
They've got plans coming up.
They've got press junkets to do and what have you. So this whole part of the story, I was like, oh wow, adventure mode isn't over. It's actually just getting started. We're actually on a proper adventure now. And the long story short, we're going to get into a little bit of spoilers here, so don't listen if you want to retain the surprises of Mario Tennis Fever's adventure mode. And I'm only like half joking. There was some kind of twist and turns here that amused me, but Wario and Waluigi, still babies, they're actually double dealing. They're working with Bowser, trying to sabotage the journey of baby Mario and baby Luigi, because Bowser wants to be the one to solve Peach's age crisis, so she will fall madly in love with him.
Strange plan. You know what I don't get, though?
What?
So, Wario and Waluigi, what's their benefit here? They're helping Bowser to do this, but for what, really? And also, that was a weird problem I had with the whole story setup. So they do have the ulterior motive of getting the treasure in the Valley of the Monsters or whatever, but they're right. Like, the fruit they get is, like, that is what heals Daisy, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so they helped. They did help the current problem. They didn't know they were going to get turned into babies. And yeah, if I remember, I don't really remember if they say or what, but why are they helping Bowser? They don't gain anything from Peach.
Bowser's promised to help them, but again, they could just team up with Mario and Luigi. I think it's just a point of pride. They helped. They got the fruit. I feel like that should be enough to say, like, okay, well, you did, like, help us do this thing we were trying to do. It had a weird outcome, but yeah, we'll help you. Dustin, it's not the most coherent story ever put.
You're right, I forgot.
Ever put to a video game. Like, I don't think there's going to be any, like, HBO series based on Mario Tennis Fever anytime soon.
Hey, not yet.
You can't really crank a prestige television drama out of this, but there's too many MacGuffins. That's the point. Like, the golden fruit really doesn't come into play at all. And I'm like, you would think that would be part of the resolution. Maybe you use that golden fruit as a tennis ball at the end. I don't know. Like, do something with it. It's kind of forgotten about almost immediately. And the whole thing becomes like this vampire logic where if we slay the monsters, we will return to normal. But I'm like, why are the monsters even de-aging them to begin with? It's odd. And then, Bowser comes into the story, and Bowser's motive is, I want to be Peach's savior, so she'll fall in love with me. And boy, oh boy, they could have really stepped into some icky scenes with this, Dustin.
They could have, but they make it clear, Bowser saying, no, then the adult Peach will love me.
Yeah, well, I took screenshots just to have the receipts. In case I was ever taken to court over playing this game. And the closest they ever come to maximum ick factor is a scene where Bowser is talking to baby Peach, who, remember, does have the memories and lived experiences of adult Peach at this time.
Right.
Bowser says, he wants her to see how cool I look when I completely wipe the monsters out. That's as close. He never says the word love when the actual baby Peach is in his proximity. So
Right.
they were very careful. They don't want anybody searching Bowser in the Epstein files right before the Super Mario Galaxy movie premieres. So I'm like, all right, I'll allow it. You could have really gone to some dark places here, Nintendo, inadvertently. You would never do it intentionally, but yeah.
This could have gone south.
It's just...
But you stepped away.
My problem with this, Dustin, God, I'm spending way too long analyzing this dumb story that does not matter in the slightest. But this is the conversation after all. Why are we surprised? This is what we do. My problem is there are too many factors and there's not enough threading of all of the motivations and machinations and MacGuffins. Because we have Bowser, we have Baby Wario and Baby Waluigi acting as spoilers throughout this whole thing. And we have the golden fruit, and we have the monsters in the Valley of the Monsters. And none of them are really related to each other.
No.
And nothing is usually resolved in any way. And so, okay, whatever. It's
I
fine.
can live with it.
It's because you know what? It's the story mode of a Mario Tennis game. And
It's wild that there even is one at all, so I can't be too critical.
people have criticized how critical I am of the Super Mario Brothers movie screenplay. You know, because I've just said it's actually a pretty rotten screenplay, all things considered. I love that it focuses on Donkey Kong so much. It should not focus on Donkey Kong so much if it wants to be a good Super Mario Brothers movie. But all that being said, I feel like I'm going extra hard analyzing this, and it doesn't really need to be analyzed.
Yeah, this is something that knows what it is.
It is, yeah. It's frothy. It's kind of designed to be idiotic on purpose, and it's almost farcical in some respects. So this whole
That's a good quote for the back of the box. Farcical.
it'll be right next to the quote about Donkey Kong's anal hygiene.
I'm sold. Mommy, can we get this one?
Now, you say that. That's just because you too have been de-aged by monsters.
That's true. That's true. I was waiting to reveal it until the end.
So this whole part of the adventure, this is not as captivating as everything that takes place at the Academy. I didn't really like the structure of this as much, especially when you just started running into like gauntlets of problems. Basically what happens is they take the airship, but then the airship is attacked by Bowser.
Right.
And then that creates like a chain reaction of little quandaries, little problems that arise that have to be solved by swinging your tennis racket. And so it's like, oh no, the ship's on fire. We need to put it out. Oh no, the engines are overheating. We need to cool it down. Oh no, we're crashing. And it's just one after another. And it's like, okay, will I get to walk around again in this? Or is this just going to be the rest of adventure? And eventually you do get to walk around again. But from here on out, you are kind of trying to progress back up to the Valley of the Monsters after the airship crashes. And you go through these ruins in this like ice cave. You go through another cave. You go through a forest and a swamp. And you run into all of these characters and creatures along the way. And look, I like and admire everything that Mario Tennis Fever does with its adventure mode. And like I said, there's almost a delight taken in the nonsense of it all. But I feel like the payoff isn't really there.
Yeah, I get that. I can feel that.
Let me just talk about spoilers really quick. So
okay, I'll allow it.
it's a bit weird that we never see Wario and Waluigi age back up into their adult forms.
Yeah.
Because basically, like, more and more characters join your party as you progress up. Donkey Kong is the first one to rejoin your party. He catches up to you at some point, and they're like, hey, it's Donkey Kong. I'm like, why didn't you just leave with them, Donkey Kong? They made a point of saying Donkey Kong would not be joining us on the adventure. And then Donkey Kong just shows up anyway. I'm like, did you change your mind? Is this like a Bilbo Baggins situation where you had to sleep on it, and then you ran out of your little hobbit hole? Saying I'm
DK
going
sent
on
out
an
a press
adventure.
release. He sent out a press release saying he will not be joining.
I don't know. I mean, I appreciate he's there. I smiled when he showed up because they make a big dramatic to-do about it. And then, like, for a while, Donkey Kong is your default doubles partner in all of these little scenarios with various monsters and what have you. And I like that. And then eventually Daisy catches back up to you and she's like, I have been healed. And I'm like, you don't need like a week or so to get your strength back. You're just hopping back into the fray. And she's like,
I'm good to go.
Yeah, I also had an airship. And then eventually Baby Peach rejoins you as well. And then, yeah, you have a final battle with Baby Wario and Baby Waluigi, but then they just go away. And
yeah, they're just done.
I thought like you would see them age back up and get a little bit of comeuppance for everything that they have wrought, but they're just kind of forgotten about. And I guess when you defeat the final boss, spoilers, it's a scuttlebutt from off of Super Mario 64 called King Scuttlebutt. It's a big spider.
I do like that. That is a pull. It's not like it's like, oh, here's the Goomba King. Here's the cheap chief.
Yeah, I thought
Scuttlebutt's a good pull for like, well, one of them has to be a main villain.
I thought it was going to be some Kamek stuff because Kamek, of course, is heavily associated with the baby forms of the characters. So I thought it was just going to be like, I liked you better when you were small. Let's just go back. And maybe he like also poisoned Daisy to get them to the Valley of the Monsters, like with a specific illness that only this golden fruit could cure. And maybe there's some of that in the subtext, and I need to go back and play it again to fully absorb it with the benefit of hindsight. But
you have to play it a few times to really get it.
Yeah. I do like though that there are 3 big bosses, and so the characters return to their normal selves when each boss is defeated. So I think, like, is it Luigi or Peach who get restored first? One of them.
I think Luigi, but it's been a little bit.
But Mario is the last one of the 3 who is restored. So I do like the awkward part where he's the only baby in the company left. And, I guess Wario and Waluigi, it's implied that one of those 3 spiders were the ones who de-aged him, or de-aged them, and they got restored as well. I just wish, that would be addressed.
Yeah, would have been nice if they showed it.
Would have been nice to get some sort of fucking resolution in my Mario Tennis Fever adventure mode.
Yeah, you know what? I think I hate this game more than any other game now.
Actually, I thought this was quite fun. This is the kind
I liked it, yeah.
This is the kind of Cameo Game stuff that I actually really like, because it does more with the concept of, hey, here's Donkey Kong in this game, other than it just being an aesthetic for you to choose. Like, I am going to play as Donkey Kong and hear his little gorilla noises and grunts and groans. And here's some banana stuff. Like, for me, like, having Donkey Kong actually interact with all of the characters and serve a function in the story is kind of like the big brother character who kind of has to serve as the parental guardian for a spell. I like that, and it's fun, and it makes this feel like an actual story rather than just a sports game for multiplayers. Like, I don't know. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the attempt was made.
Yeah. I like it. I was kind of hoping Donkey Kong would be more of a presence for it, because the trailer kind of frames it as like, oh, Donkey Kong has to take care of these babies. Oh, no. But he really is not there for most of this game.
He's not.
That is just me, like, wanting something that the game is not.
You wanted Jim Henson's Muppet Babies with Donkey Kong in the role of nanny.
That is true. That's exactly what I wanted and still want.
I would love that. I would also love a scene where Donkey Kong has to nourish the babies by regurgitating his bananas into their mouths.
Maybe that's why they redesigned him, so he wouldn't seem as menacing when he did that.
He doesn't have quite the beaky appearance anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you know what? He's too bird-like, and we're going to do this Mario Tennis game where he stays an adult, but everybody else becomes a baby, and we don't want the implication. We don't want it. So you know what? We need to make him less bird-like. Sorry, Kev Bayless.
We just want to avoid it from the get-go before anyone even raises any questions.
Yeah. So it's nice to know that that's the truth behind it. So let's talk about the tennis matches, I guess.
I guess we might as well talk about the tennis matches in this tennis game while we're here.
So look, the basic tennis gameplay of this series, it's never been in question for me. When this came out a little over a month ago, someone asked me how I was enjoying it because they know I had to get it day one because of DK Vine. And
right.
I said, look, it's very hard to screw up video game tennis. I don't know if I've ever played a video game about tennis that has been poor at being a tennis game, if that makes any sense. I view tennis...
No, it's like, how do you mess it up? It's just so basic what it is.
It's so foundational to what video games are. I mean, video game tennis is the load bearer for the entire concept of what a video game is.
Yeah.
So even the weakest, most paltry release in the Mario Tennis series, which was Ultra Smash back on the Wii U, even that, the action was solid enough. It was just very bare bones in comparison to its predecessors. And
right, but how it plays is not the big issue with it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is, anybody who wants just tennis will just buy a tennis game. If you're buying Mario Tennis, you want nonsense. You want chaos. You want cacophony. And you do get that in this game, but first, I want to talk about just Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, because, hey, we are the Kongversation. This is actually the focus of the podcast. And I want to talk about how they're presented, how they feel, how they play, because I think we're all used to how Donkey Kong looks in this new era now. We've all gotten accustomed to it, mostly because we spent so long with it in Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Right.
This is his third appearance after Mario Kart World and Bonanza. So it's kind of just very familiar now. And in fact, it's kind of weird now to go back into an older game and see how he looked just prior to June of last year. And you're like, whoa, wait, this is what we lived with for 30 years?
What is this? A Battletoad?
I do like how he looks, obviously. You know,
yeah, of course.
From 94 to 2025. But I have gotten very accustomed to his new design, and I quite like it at this point. But Diddy. Let's talk about Diddy, because this is the first time Diddy has been playable with his redesign. He was in Donkey Kong Bonanza, but we didn't get to play as him. He, showed up relatively late in the game, and if you have beaten the game and you have the DLC, you can spend time with Diddy whenever you want now, but you're still just looking at him. You're not living inside of him.
yeah, you still don't really get a good feel for it. And like we talked about this redesign, and I for the most part like it, but yeah, even in Bonanza, you play it and you're just kind of looking at them for little bits at a time. You don't have that time to really get used to them, which is why I think here in Mario Tennis it goes down a little smoother.
It does. It's the chaser actually getting to play as him. It's really satisfying to play as Diddy in this, and I love the way he's animated. I love the way he looks. You know, I have been open-minded about this redesign. I don't think I ever really questioned much of it. I think, like, even the stuff that's controversial, like the DD pin and the millimeter flesh between his eyes, doesn't bother me. And now seeing him in action, seeing him animated so fully, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is just Diddy. Like, nothing's really different except those little tweaks. I like that he has fleshy eyelids again.
Yes, that is a big one.
And honestly,
I've never liked the pupil blinking.
I've never liked the anime style pupil blinking that became more or less the standard after the buyout. It, occasionally wouldn't appear. Occasionally he would have eyelids, but more or less they were not animated. And I think the millimeter of flesh does help pull them together. Although I think, like, looking at it, I think maybe the millimeter of flesh would be sold better if he always had a little bit of eyelid at the very top of his eyes. And maybe that's just me asking for a Kong-like brow, like a gorilla Kong would have. But yeah, I really like the way Diddy looks. I'm not going to complain too much. Like, yeah, my preferences will always be with the Rare era designs, and I don't think that can ever change given the power and pool of nostalgia. But This is still Diddy. This is still my guy. And God, I gotta say, just getting to run around the court as Donkey and Diddy together, like in a doubles match, it's joyful for me. It's still a joyous experience. I'll never get tired of it.
Well, it's especially nice since in Bonanza, they're rarely ever together. So it's nice that you can just put them together as partners again.
Even in Donkey Kong Country Returns, you don't have to have them together anymore. You can just opt in for Dixie. So
that's true.
It's kind of nice to have the original buddy duo, according to John Lovitz in the Banjo-Kazooie VHS tape. It's nice to have them together again. It's nice to have, like, the boys' day out, if you will. And
yeah,
it's the thing I always wanted in that traditional era of Cameo games I was talking about, like back when Rare was still the home of Donkey Kong, and then you would have Donkey Kong make these appearances from these other studios in these Mario games. I was always wanting Diddy in those games because it always just felt like Donkey Kong was this island, not Donkey Kong Island, but Donkey Kong, the character himself, was an island in a sea of things that weren't Donkey Kong. And I was like, it would be really nice if Donkey Kong had a partner from his games, if he had somebody to stand up against all of this non-Donkey Kong stuff. And we got that in Toadstool Tour and then Double Dash when they added Diddy. And, like, I have my issues with a lot of the Cameo games of the GameCube and Wii era. But, having Diddy with Donkey Kong really does help elevate Cameo games for me, the Donkey Kong brained fanatic who wouldn't be playing this, let's be honest, if the Kongs weren't in it.
That's true. I probably would not be either. Nothing against the game, of course, but also I'm not that excited about Mario Tennis in general. I mean, I like this game. I don't want to sound like I didn't. But it is, just more Mario Tennis.
It's really good Mario Tennis. Like I said, it's hard to screw up video game tennis, and especially from Camelot. Camelot, they know what they're doing with the formula. Like I said, the only time they ever really misfired with it was Ultra Smash, and that was more just Nintendo forcing them to release it because oopsie doodles, they didn't have anything else for the holidays and they got to get product out. So I don't really hold Ultra Smash against Camelot, and Aces was really them having to make good on all of that. But yeah, I mean, it feels great. I really enjoy just the basic tennis mechanics of it, and it's always so satisfying when you get a sneaky shot in, when the ball just like flies almost diagonally across the opponent's side of the court and just like goes across the net, and there's just no chance for them to retrieve it. And it's like, that's what you get. That's what you get when you go up against Donkey and Diddy Kong.
Ooh, does that sting that happened?
And the presentation, I mean, these do feel like the characters. Donkey Kong feels like he's just been dropped in from Bonanza. Diddy is his recognizable self. I even love the description they use for Donkey Kong on the select screen. It says, cheerful and mighty in equal measure, which really does feel like how they have realigned the character, or really gotten back to Donkey Kong as he was from 94 onward, where he's not villainous. He's not an easy to anger oaf. He is joyful. He is joyous. He is celebrating life.
Yeah, that is probably the best outcome of this redesign. Is it sells who Donkey Kong is a lot better. You're not going to get that mixed messaging. I do really wonder if that's why they wanted to get that Mario versus Donkey Kong remake at the time. I mean, not the only reason. Also, it's just good to have a game with Donkey Kong out there at the time. But it feels like the last time they could really do that. You can't have Donkey Kong be a villain anymore.
I'm sure eventually we will get another Mario versus Donkey Kong game. Like, I'm not going to be so cocksure in this realignment of the Donkey Kong series as its own full, standalone, powerful IP to say they'll never go down the path of Mario versus Donkey Kong again.
Right.
I think the way
it just doesn't feel right.
It wouldn't feel right, yeah. And I feel like they've done a really good job of getting back to Donkey Kong as the Donkey Kong diehards have understood him for so long. And like, I like in the Simpsons parlance, jerk-ass Donkey Kong. We call him toothy grin jackass Donkey Kong. But that feels like a thing of the past now. That feels like that characterization hasn't won out, and Bonanza especially is informing how he appears and acts and behaves in games like this. So yeah, I like it. But of course, we've spent well over an hour now talking about Mario Tennis Fever, but we haven't actually talked about the genuine fever behind the title. And I'm not talking about whatever was wrong with Daisy. You would think that was what the fever was referring to, a pandemic taking out the cast one by one. But no, the fever refers to the new fever rackets. And I say new, they are new, but this is really just an adjustment of how the special moves and abilities in Mario Tennis are doled out in this iteration, because these have been part of the Mario Tennis concept since Mario Power Tennis. You would have power shots in that game where each character would have an offensive and a defensive ability that would be tailor-made for their character. Like, Diddy would break out the rocket barrels or the jetpack, and you would have a barrel cannon, and then you would have special shots in Mario Tennis Aces, which were very similar. So what they've done here, though, is they've taken all of those special abilities, and rather than have them unique to a character, they've instead put them in the rackets themselves. So you can then mix and match. You can have a specific character take in a racket to a match, and then you will have that special ability based off of the racket and not the character, which is a different way of doing it. For Donkey and Diddy, they do have a specific fever racket that's aligned to them, the banana racket, which is just a big banana bunch on a stick. And I love the simplicity of it. I love that it's not anything but just them whacking bananas. And even like the logic behind it, there's no magic. There's no like spell upon this racket. It's just
bananas.
It's just a banana bunch that then will scatter bananas across the court and cause players to slip.
Yeah. You'd think those bananas would like explode on impact.
I mean, they're
pretty firm.
Yeah, sometimes you get a banana. Have you ever noticed sometimes you get a banana and the peel is very thin, and then other times you get a banana and the peel is just so thick and the actual fruit inside is thinner than you thought it would be?
Right, yes. Yes, I have been there, Hyle. It's like you're reading my mind.
Just this morning, I had a banana as part of my breakfast, and I
Good
opened
for
it
you.
up. Well, I opened it up, and I'm like, I thought this was a thick, girthy daddy, but instead, it's a thin Jim.
I hate when you don't get the thick, girthy daddies.
So I'm saying these bananas, they're thick, girthy daddies. These were specifically grown on a banana farm on DK Island for the purpose of whacking balls in sporting competitions.
Yeah, cool. I buy that as much as I buy anything else in this game.
I mean, look, we've seen the level of logic we have to work with in Mario Tennis Fever, so you can't question anything I say about the cultivation of these bananas.
No, it's right in line with it.
So I do like that, like, the Kongs, it feels like they're bringing something from home. I always love in these Cameo games when it feels like the Kongs aren't making do with what is provided to them in the Mushroom Kingdom. They're instead bringing a taste of DK Isle or the DK Isles with them. Like in Double Dash, the DK Jumbo was just a cart made out of a barrel, presumably built by Funky Kong. And
we do things a little differently here on DK Island.
It's like a tourist commercial for like Texas or something. It's like a whole nother country. It's like a whole Donkey Kong country.
I'm planning my vacation today.
It's like, look, we can go here and eat these big girthy bananas. We can practically gag on them.
Then we can probably just go home after.
So anyway, the Fever Rackets, they're the big draw of this game, and they are, I mean, look, like I said, anybody who plays a Mario Tennis game or a Mario Kart game, they will generally want that chaos. They will want that level of discord disrupting the usual sporting events and competitions. But honestly, sometimes I just can't bother with the Fever Rackets. Like, you do have to, like, experience the Fever Rackets if you're playing in tournament or whatever. But if I'm just playing a one-on-one match, I'm like, let's just use the personal rackets, the non-powered rackets that have their initials on them. In this case, or insignia. Like, for the Kongs now, they're both initials because DK has his DK, but now Diddy uses the DD and the star.
Right, his initials.
Yeah, they've kind of gotten away from the star pattern being his emblem. So, I'm just like, let's just play with the personal rackets because I do like the mechanical feel of tennis in these games, and I don't really need to introduce a bunch of faff like oil slicks or tornadoes or lightning,
I won't be having any of that.
And I mean, that is the game. I understand fully that is the main draw of the game. It's wacky tennis with Mario and friends, but, sometimes you just want to play tennis. And it does allow you that option. You don't have to just opt in with the Fever Rackets if you're playing against the computer or friend in just a free play match. But, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I just can't be bothered, Dustin.
Can't be bothered. That's another one for the back of the box.
It's what Ringo Starr said about Mario Tennis Fever. So the court variety, it's okay.
It's fine.
I feel like there could have been more varied and fanciful locations from both the Mario and Donkey Kong series.
Yeah, they feel a little plain, and also just don't really feel like anything we haven't seen before.
Well, that's the problem, too. Like, this series has been going with Camelot since the year 2000, but if we go back even further than that, there were previous Mario Tennis games, like the one on the Virtual Boy in 95, which is now on Nintendo Switch Online.
Play it today.
It has Donkey Kong Jr. in it. And they call him Donkey Jr. Like, again, I like the courts, and they do have good textual variety, because you've got the stadium courts that take place in the Mushroom Tennis Academy, and they come in grass, hard, like the bluish surface, and clay surfaces. And then you've got the training courts at the school, which are even more varied. You've got wood, brick, carpet, mushroom, which is bouncy, sand, and ice. And then you've also got like the more exaggerated courses, the one that takes place on Peach's airship, and the one that's the forest court from Adventure. And then you've got bespoke courts that are stripped down versions of what appear in the special matches elsewhere in the game. Waluigi's Pinball Arcade, which I really like aesthetically, at least.
Yeah.
Racket Factory, where they make the Fever rackets, and Wonder Court, which takes place in Super Mario Bros. Wonder's Flower Kingdom.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a fun way to mix it up. I think that is these Mario spin-off games, I feel like they don't always... Sometimes they do. Sometimes it's like, okay, we just had a new Mario game. What can we bring from that into the newer spin-offs? And sometimes they do that, and sometimes they don't. And I think the Wonder Flower from Mario Brothers Wonder, that's just like that's perfect for like anything. That can work for like any spin-off.
Yeah. And of course, Talking Flower is the announcer throughout this game. So
pretty great character,
it's fun.
Talking Flower.
It's fun. It does get old, as does the commentary in any sports game eventually. But
right, he always has something to say about every single thing you do.
The only thing I don't like about it is if nobody's done a fever shot in a while, he'll start like egging you on. It's like, I think it's about time for a fever shot. You're boring me here.
Could do with some more fever shots here.
Even if you're just using the personal rackets, you can still do fever shots, which is just basically a juiced up tennis swing, like with extra power behind it, but it doesn't have any droppings behind it. It doesn't scatter juice or crud about your feet.
Doesn't shit on the court.
Doesn't shit on the course, no. But yeah, I do like that too, generally, Dustin, because it's always fun, even as somebody who is not always up on the mainline Mario games, because I don't need to be generally. I always like seeing those new elements come into play, mixed in with the tried and true aesthetics and formula. Like Mario Power Tennis, going back to that, like I wasn't big on Sunshine, but I still like to see them incorporate all the Mario Sunshine stuff in Power Tennis. And
yeah, like imagine if a Mario Tennis was just the same stuff. Like, imagine if we were just stuck on like Mario 64 stuff forever.
Yeah. Right. And my problem is always sometimes they leave stuff in the past too much, and it doesn't feel like they really do in the current era of Nintendo. But my thing was like, man, I would really like if more Mario stuff from when I was a kid and really into Mario would come into play, like Super Mario Brothers 2. I'm not going to complain about that because it's a good time to be a fan of Super Mario Brothers 2, Dustin. But,
it sure is.
I remember like back when I was at my most angsty towards Nintendo and the changing of the generations, and I was starting to feel a little put out by these big seismic shifts happening within Nintendo fandom culture. And I was just thinking, I don't care about Petey Piranha. I don't care about King Boo. I want Wart. I want Mouser. I want the Koopa kids, the Koopalines. I want them back. Where are my characters? Hashtag not my Super Mario.
Wow, Hyle, you sound like a true gamer now.
But then you eventually get over it and you realize that, of course, newer stuff is going to be worked in and they're not going to just dredge up wart willy-nilly. So, or Milli Vanilli, they were Mario characters in the Super Show. Oh, excuse me, the Adventures of Super Mario Brothers 3.
That's true. Bowser called them Silly the Willies.
Silly, yeah. And it turns out they were plenty silly. It's actually a tragic story. I feel bad for them. But
yeah.
As much as I currently adhere to the philosophy of keeping the Donkey Kong and Mario series relatively separate, it would have been nice, maybe, to get a Bonanza-based court in this game.
Yeah, you'd think they would have.
Again, I think
you have them.
I think they're treading carefully right now because they don't want to just make Donkey Kong feel like this extension of Mario. They want it to feel like its own thing with its own identity, its own brand culture around it. And I think that's been really what's keeping them back from going all in on some stuff. Even up to Diddy Kong not being in Mario Kart World, or at least part of the core roster. Who knows when we'll get DLC. But I was thinking back to Power Tennis and how cool it was to have that Congo jungle tennis court with the critters and the claptraps, and it's like it would have been nice to have like a Fractone stadium. It would have. Like imagine even a gimmick, like a special match where the ball is made of Fractonium and it's like continually sticking to stuff and getting bigger and bigger as you just like rally it back and forth with your opponents. I don't know. Like,
ooh, that's a fun idea.
On one hand, I get it, and I get that they want to be very careful and cautious when incorporating Donkey Kong stuff in these Mario games, especially as they're trying to build back up the Mario brand. On the other hand, you can't get all the pee out of that pool. Once you tinkle, it's in there, unless you completely drain it, and for better or for worse, we've been living...
That's just going to take forever.
Yeah, for better or for worse, we've been living with this reality of Donkey Kong having this crossover with Mario since at least Mario Kart 64 from the modern perspective, but going back way further than that. I mean, Mario debuted in the original 81 arcade Donkey Kong game, so there's not much we can do about that. So... you know, I'm like, yeah, it would have been cool to get a Bonanza court, but then again, if we are going to get Donkey Kong side games again, if we are going to get the like DK series own take on something like Mario Tennis Fever, not a tennis game, but something unique to that series, then you don't really want to overload something like this with Donkey Kong stuff.
Right. True. And I also just feel like, this is a position that people at DK Vine have been in many a time. I also feel greedy when I want more Donkey Kong stuff in the Mario game.
Yeah. I'd
like it, but also I stop and I'm like, okay, well, I get that Mario is the priority here. It's nice that Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong are here, but I can't just be like, well, where is the Donkey Kong Bonanza stage? Right. It's like, well, I'm glad they're here at all.
But Dustin, you're approaching this too from the perspective of a DK Vine staffer, where we do view Donkey Kong as its own thing. For a lot of people, not part of the cult, they view Donkey Kong as an extension of Mario. And maybe that is what Nintendo is trying to change a little bit. But again, you're never going to completely undo that. Undog that, because you can't really. I mean, what's done is done, and
well, I think something else to keep in mind too is it's not like every character gets a stage or anything. Like you could say, oh, there's no Donkey Kong stage. That's so weird. But like, there's no stage for Peach. There's no Wario stage. it's just like environmental stages. So I get it. It would be strange for them to say like, oh, here's the freezer layer stage.
Well, yeah, I'm not looking for a tennis court in every layer of Bonanza's underground world, but
as cool as it would be.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Like, I was going to argue with you. It's like, well, Donkey Kong is the one with the big new game that recently came out, but I guess Peach also had a game not, too far apart from Bonanza, and it's like, there's nothing from that one. What?
Right.
Showtime? What's that? Yeah.
Princess Peach Showtime?
Yeah. So, I get it, and I know there's the Wario fans out there who always want more Wario representation in these games, and they never get it. Whether it's Wario Land or World or where, you hardly ever see any of that in these Cameo games. So we kind of have it better than they do in some regards.
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime a new Smash has come out since Brawl, I'm a little surprised that Wario still feels like so underrepresented. And I guess that's just the case everywhere. It's weird. Like, even more than Donkey Kong, I think it's weird how Wario's shine kind of fell off.
Yeah, it is weird, especially like compared to Yoshi, where Yoshi is kind of ebbed and flowed, and it's definitely not as prominent its own series as it was in the mid-90s, but it still retained some sort of core identity more than Wario has. So
yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, all in all though, I'm not going to complain too much either, because I do get to play as Donkey and Diddy as a team in this game, and that's still better than Mario Kart World offers us at this moment in time.
That is true. That's very true.
It wasn't hard to unlock Diddy. I'll give them that. I was a little bit worried knowing that Diddy would be an unlockable, but all you have to do is, spoilers, play 10 tennis matches and you unlock Diddy. So
that's not too bad.
It's pretty easy to get there. And then once Diddy's unlocked, I alternate between both him and Donkey Kong, but yeah, I mean, it's funny because in Smash Brothers, I think out of the DKU characters in Smash, Diddy is the one I play the least, which is disappointing because he was the character I wanted the most coming out of Melee.
Just how it works out sometimes. I'm kind of the same. I love Donkey Kong, but I can't use Donkey Kong at all. He's not part of my lineup.
Yeah, no, like, I would prefer to use Diddy over Donkey, but in Smash, I'm playing, like, Donkey Kong's still one of my mainstays because I forced myself to get good with him in the original N64 game and Melee. So by the time we got the Brawl and we got Diddy, I was like, he's so light. And what is this? I'm used to the chonk of Donkey Kong.
I can't be dealing with this little monkey.
He's a thick, girthy daddy, that Donkey Kong.
As we're always saying about him.
I'm not going to gag on Diddy. He's the banana with the very thick peel around him, but then you get to the fruit inside, and he's practically nothing, barely even a snack.
So flaccid.
Whoa. No need to make it filthy, Dustin.
You're right. One step too far.
There are also other modes, I suppose. Okay, in all seriousness, this is just a first impressions. This is not like an actual, like, full-length overview of the game or a Bonanza-style deep dive into every little piece of minutia. I have not played much of the Trial Towers mode yet.
We didn't either when we streamed. I think that's where we kind of drew the line.
So for those who don't know, it's a series of 3 towers, 10 floors each, and you kind of have to, like, clear them in succession. And there are different challenges, each one, and they come with a predetermined character. So I think that's why I haven't really done much with it, because I can't play every single one with Donkey or Diddy.
Right.
So I'm like, ugh, I'll get to you later. No thanks.
I guess.
It's actually a pretty in-depth mode though, so I am eager to, like, explore it a little bit more. But my primary concern before we did this episode was clearing adventure and playing through the tournaments. So
yeah,
mission accomplished there. Not so much here. There's also
we did a good job.
There's also special matches, score challenges. You know, you get like chaotic gimmicks, like a tennis match that also doubles as a pinball machine. It's the Waluigi pinball one. And there's the Fever racket factory where you actually like construct the Fever rackets. You build them and then you grab one while you're playing tennis. I mean, these are convoluted and they're fun as little gimmicks and diversions from the main gameplay, but I don't think I'm gonna spend much time replaying these.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even play them the first time.
Oh, well, you have to play them to unlock some of these courts in regular gameplay. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll meet the bare minimum requirement to unlock what I need to unlock, but then I'm probably not coming back to it.
I guess I'll do it.
Dustin, I feel like we were
grace this game.
I feel like we've been like overly harsh on something I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, no, I had a great time with this game, or I had a good enough time. I think the thing with this game is it's great Mario Tennis, but it is just Mario Tennis. And, you know, I live with, you know, other DK Vine regulars like Adam, Andrew, Cameron. And I think if
I was holding my breath to see who else you listed. I was like, have you hired more people without my consent?
Richard, William is there. But I feel like if Adam and Andrew didn't buy this game, I just would not have played it. I mean, nothing against it. It's just Mario Tennis is just never a huge priority for me. I know what I'm gonna get.
Yeah, I would say I always have my eye drawn towards Camelot's games. So when they're announced, I'm not like, ugh, and making a big fuss about it. I don't do that much with anything anymore. Like, I'm pretty even keeled these days. But even back during the low point of my relationship with these Mario series appearances of the Kongs, I think once we actually got Toadstool Tour and I played it and I really enjoyed it, I think that kind of reframed my way of thinking and to expect quality from Camelot. And more or less we've gotten that. Like, I've had some quibbles with some recent Mario Golfs, but Mario Tennis, aside from that one Wii U misfire, has been very consistent. And I don't think Fever does anything to dispel that. And I think I like it better than Aces, but we'll save that for final thoughts. How about that?
Good idea, Hyle. Right. That's a good idea right there.
We have a call. Somebody called in.
We have a call?
We have a call. You can call the DK Vine hotline by dialing 1-202-630-VINE. That is 8463. Just leave us a message. Should we go ahead and play our caller?
I would love to play.
All right. Here we go.
Hello, Dustin. Hello, Hyle. This is Carl calling in for Mario Tennis Fever. I guess I'll start out with the story such as it is. I think there's two interesting observations here. One, I think it's just funny how they kind of have to make plots for like tennis games and our kinds of games like this now. Like, firstly, like a lot of potential tennis things have already been done. You know, Mario Tennis Aces, there was some sort of evil tennis god or something. So now they're like babies. Okay, that's the thing. People are babies now. So not only is it a Mario turns into babies thing, but also has to be about tennis. And I guess tennis is how you train the baby bot up to adult levels. I also think it's interesting that there's no baby Donkey Kong here. They could have done it. DK was part of the inciting incident in the beginning, but no, he's just going to shepherd the babies instead. And I don't know if this is a conscious choice to like not use baby Donkey Kong, if they're just like entirely done with that character, because I don't think he was ever a real hit, or if this is just part of a symptom of like, you know, in Mario parties and things, there's been a desire to make Donkey Kong more of a supporting character than like part of the main cast for whatever reason. And I guess that kind of ties into the roster, which I think is the only other sort of DQ-adjacent thing to discuss here. I do think there's definitely going to be speculation throughout the Switch 2 era if they're like holding back on Donkey Kong content in order to like make him more of his own brand. And like I could see how that might be appealing from a business perspective, but like if that doesn't end up getting like a Donkey Kong racing game at the deal or something like that, which I think is still kind of unlikely despite everything, And it doesn't end up being that helpful. It's like we don't get Donkey Kong Racing, and also we don't get to play as Funky Kong in Mario Sluggers or whatever. But I guess we'll see on that front. I think partially it's that they're seen as more tertiary, so there could be a value add. Like, Diddy Kong's DLC Mario Kart 8, because the game won't feel incomplete without him to most people. But you would still be excited to see him back, and maybe you'll pick up the game again or spend some more money or something like that. So, I don't know. I think we'll have to see more Mario Sports games comes out before we see our thoughts on that. But I would like to hear what you think was your speculation. Thank you for taking the call.
Well, thank you for the call. Lots of good talking points we can glom onto here.
Glom.
Yeah?
That's a good word.
Glom?
Yeah, it's just a good, fun thing to say.
Yeah. I'm surprised there's not a Mario baddie called, Glommers or something.
And then he gloms onto you?
He gloms onto you. Get him off me. You have to,
Ew.
jump. You have to, mash the button really hard.
He's glomming my tennis racket.
Shake him loose. Shake those glommers loose. So, Baby Donkey Kong. No Baby Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong averted the spider's web and didn't get the age sucked out of him.
That is a choice.
Also, it's weird that they didn't turn super old. Usually in stories like this, if a supernatural creature sucks something out of you, it's your life essence, and it leaves you a shriveled husk, like a vampire or a psychic vampire. In this case, it almost does them a favor. It's like, ooh, eternal youth. I just need to go back to the spider's nest every 40 to 50 years.
Just get a little blast. Just get a little spider blast.
It's nature's Botox. You just inject it, in this case, the spider venom, into your veins. And, ooh la la, look how hot I am. Now, granted,
looking good.
Maybe you dial down a bit so you don't just become a baby.
That is the biggest rule.
Maybe have half the spider venom enter your body. I don't know. Really, that's what they should have.
20 again.
Instead of just killing the spiders with their tennis rackets, maybe they should have thought of a way to monetize this, like that golden fruit. Here we have the cure for all diseases. Here we have the cure for aging. This wonderful island provides so much, and they're just going to dismiss it.
Yeah, think of all the people this could help.
Once again, we're getting away from the topic at hand to discuss the implications of this absolutely wild storyline that they've concocted for us. But I think Baby Donkey Kong, I don't want to say we'll never see Baby Donkey Kong again, because
never say never. We
live in an era where, never say never is, I think, the guiding light. It is the North Star of Nintendo. I mean, we are experiencing stuff I never thought we would see again from Nintendo, but in my wildest dreams, the return of the Virtual Boy as part of Nintendo's storied history, Super Mario Bros. 2 characters being featured in an upcoming Mario movie, and, I mean, all of the Donkey Kong fan service that we've seen in Donkey Kong Bonanza, going places in both the usage of characters and the utilization of lore that I didn't think we would ever see sans rare. So it's a magical time. And so I don't want to say that just because my childhood is getting indulged right now, that somebody else's childhood, if they grew up with, say, Yoshi's Island DS, won't be indulged in the future. Right. I do think you're spot on, and it's what we've been saying on the Kongversation for several years now when we're talking about Nintendo's big plans for the series and it being taken internally at EPD, that they are being cautious and careful about how they incorporate the Kongs in games of this nature. And I do think maybe Baby Donkey Kong is a bit much at the moment for the brand identity. I mean, even Mario Kart Tour, a gacha style game that was, you know, designed around having as many wacky variants of characters as possible. Dustin, I haven't talked about Luigi with the big sausage in quite a long time. There was a Luigi holding a big, thick, girthy sausage daddy.
I could see you were practically, your head was swelling up and veiny from holding it in. And now I can see it just going back down to regular Hyle size. Now that you've brought up Luigi with the sausage.
Like, what the hell, Dustin? Luigi with the big sausage. And the only Donkey Kong variant we got in that game was Donkey Kong as a Roman gladiator.
A strange choice to be your only one.
Yeah, but even there, they were showing restraint. And I think Baby Donkey Kong, would be too much. And I don't know, who knows how Camelot arrived to the decisions they arrived at with this masterpiece of storytelling. But we'll probably see Baby Donkey Kong again in the future. But I do think in the present era we live in, you will see a little bit more thought be put into how the Donkey Kong brand is portrayed and how it's portrayed vis-a-vis its relationship to Mario. I think Yoshi's Island DS is an artifact from a time where Nintendo had no idea what to do with Donkey Kong post-buyout. And so they tried literally everything with Donkey Kong. It's a point I brought up time and time again. You know, they actually tried everything that you could do with Donkey Kong during the buyout era. We had the arcade revival with Mario vs. Donkey Kong. We had Nintendo's own take, just reinventing Donkey Kong platforming from the ground up with Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. We had Rare continue to dabble in Donkey Kong Country with the GBA remakes and then Diddy Kong Racing DS. We had Payon try their hand at the King of Swing, Jungle Climber, Barrel Blast / Jet Race. We had the Bongo Conga games. And we also had Yoshi's Island DS. What if we just made Donkey Kong a supporting player in a Mario game? Kind of.
Just make him a baby, throw him in there.
It's a Yoshi game, but,
yeah,
all the same, it's it would be like the equivalent of putting Donkey Kong as a playable character in Super Mario 64 DS.
Exactly.
So,
which I wouldn't be that opposed to.
So that was that era, and that is not what they would do with Donkey Kong today. And so, Baby Donkey Kong only really showed up, in Sluggers after that, right?
Yeah, were those the only 2 appearances?
I want to say, it's a little hazy. It's like when the Magic 8 Ball doesn't really know what to say. But, we did get the plush Baby Donkey Kong. I've got it on my desk right now, Dustin. I've got a plush Baby Donkey Kong on my desk right next to adult Donkey Kong and current baby Diddy Kong, who is, of course, just normal, regular Diddy Kong.
Of course.
So, yeah, I think maybe that played into it, that desire for greater fidelity to what the Donkey Kong series is doing with Donkey Kong, given that it's internal at Nintendo now. And to your larger point about holding back Kong elements versus will we actually get any Donkey Kong side games in this new era going forward? I still think that is the intention. And this isn't my Bonanza info where I knew for sure it was in development. I just am reading the tea leaves and I'm just knowing what they are intending to do with the brand and where they want to take it. I do think games of that sort are on the table, especially when they want to cash in, when they want to have product on store shelves to capitalize on something like, say, a Donkey Kong movie. They will have to turn to things that aren't platformers. They will have to turn to things that aren't just mainline Donkey Kong games to kind of, juice their coffers a little bit, get some money in the bank, baby. So we will see that eventually. And I do think that is being considered right now. And yeah, it does suck because it does deprive Donkey Kong fans of getting that dopamine hit in games of this sort if we're not getting the full, whole hog. Here's Dixie, here's Funky, here's the Donkey Kong Island Court, here's the Underground World Court. But you're also right. you're also spot on that does become a lucrative potential DLC down the road if they want to go that route. And I think Mario Kart World, we probably will see Diddy at the very least in Mario Kart World as
I'm
DLC.
hoping.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. At the very least though, we did get Diddy in the like base game of Fever, whereas he was DLC or added later after the fact in Aces. So
I wasn't Diddy like a post-launch character
he
for
was
like
post-launch.
pretty
Yeah.
much all of those
I think they
sports games on the Switch?
I think they announced that he was coming to the game before release or around the week of release, but yeah, he wasn't in there at launch.
Yeah, it feels like Diddy's been kind of relegated to that for everything on the Switch.
Yeah, he wasn't even in Super Rush Mario Golf.
Oh, they just never added him
They
in?
just never added him, which confounded me at the time because I was like, Camelot, you're supposed to have Diddy's back. You were the ones.
Where's my guy here?
You were the ones who put him in Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. You were the ones who gave us prosthetic golfing fingers as a term to use to
You can't take that away now.
Why does Diddy have 5 digits on his hand now? Oh, it's because prosthetic golfing fingers. And Camelot gave us that, and then they took it away when they didn't put him in Super Rush.
Well, at least they rectified their mistake.
I mean, it's never been a problem.
Well,
with
he's here now.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he wasn't in Ultra Smash, but nothing was in Ultra Smash. So
Yeah, exactly. That was the least of that game's problems.
Oh my God, Traveler of the Stars has joined us in a live stream. Traveler of the
Hello.
Stars is screaming at us right now.
What for? We didn't even mention Professor Chops.
Oh, now you did though.
Uh-oh.
No, Hyle just, he said, Traveler of the Stars says, Hyle can't be a snob with the Galaxy movie because it has claw grip. Well, Traveler, I was a snob about the Super Mario Brothers movie and had Swanky Kong.
Yeah, that's true.
I did like the 40 minutes of just Donkey Kong content in the movie. I was a snob about everything else.
Right, it just didn't make it a better Mario movie.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, fuck Mario. We got ours.
Yeah.
The Super Mario Brothers movie was a Trojan horse, or rather a Trojan rhino, Trojan Ramby maybe, to get Donkey Kong in the hearts and minds of young Nintendo fans and their families worldwide. Mission accomplished.
And it worked.
It worked. And we're going to get a Donkey Kong movie. It's exciting times.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a new Donkey Kong racing game, a Ramby Rumble. Maybe we'll get a standalone Emerald Rush game. Maybe we'll get...
That'd be fun.
Yeah, Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. We don't know.
There's just no way to know.
But what an exciting time to live in. And I think generally that's where I'm left with Mario Tennis Fever. Despite me being the grump about Cameo Games, despite me recoiling every time I go to our games page and I just see that sad Mario face again and again and again and again, which we're never changing, by the way.
I love it.
We have some people on staff who are like, that's kind of insulting towards all of these games. And
It's just funny.
It's just funny. And look,
It's just a funny face.
Mario pulls that exact same sad face in this game when he thinks Daisy's about to die.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually canonical.
It's a canonical fact now, and we have to abide by it. And, I am a grump, generally. I would prefer to have Ramby Rumble. I would prefer to have Emerald Rush as a standalone co-op mode. I would prefer to have Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. But, I've never had any qualms with Cameo Games from Camelot. Cameo Games from Camelot. Cameo Games from Camelot. And I think the tennis series, despite me preferring Mario Golf as a concept, has proven itself to be more durable and less likely to falter than Mario Golf. And I think that just gets down to the core concept of video games are built on Pong.
Yeah. Like every video game just stems from that.
Yeah. So I think both Aces and now Fever. I think those two are in contention for best Mario Tennis game. Like Power Tennis, I think I have a lot of nostalgia for, but I think if I'm being honest, I prefer what Aces and Fever do with just gameplay in general. And you can't beat having an adventure mode, even if it is nonsensical, even if it is like written as if a child is doodling it with crayon in a kindergarten class.
Right, it's still something.
It's still something, and it's interesting. We spent so much of this episode just trying to dissect it, trying to find some sort of profound meaning. What does the golden fruit represent? Well, I don't know. Maybe the golden fruit represents this eternal nectar of the gods that we, the DKU fans, are trying to seek out when we pick up a video game. We're always trying to journey through these Valley of the Monsters, in this case, Cameo games, right? In search of a golden fruit that will cure all of our ails. And in this case, it's lack of Donkey Kong in our lives. Lack of Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong appearances. I don't know. And I love the way they look. I love the way they play in this game. It scratches that itch. It's also something that Bonanza doesn't provide because we can't play as Diddy in Bonanza.
That's true. This does have that over Bonanza. Better game? I don't know, but a strong argument to be made.
Yeah. And having Donkey and Diddy in their modern designs team up together, they still feel the same. They've always felt to me over the last 30 years or so.
Yeah.
And I think, coming off of the biggest Donkey Kong game in years, a game that has reestablished the Donkey Kong series bona fides to the casual audience, I took a lot of pride in beating the Mario characters with the DK and Diddy team. I took so many screenshots, Dustin, of Diddy and Donkey, and that's the way I team them up. I play as Diddy generally and have Donkey as my doubles partner. I took so many screenshots of their victory poses with the Mario characters looking sad in the backgrounds. Am I petty? Am I spiteful? Look, I don't hate the Mario characters. Like, it's a bit. It's a gimmick. It's part of my persona as the editor-in-chief of DK Vine to have this friendly rivalry between the camps. I don't hate them. I really don't hate them.
But I like Mario.
I do enjoy making them cry a little bit.
Yeah, they do deserve it.
They do, because they could have just cured Daisy with their medicine jar, being that they're all doctors, and they didn't do it.
You know what? I can't look at them the same way anymore.
I mean, honestly, Donkey Kong and Diddy, they're also doctors, so they're at fault too. So.
Double standard.
Yeah, I have my criticisms about Adventure's pace and overall structure and how various MacGuffins don't come back into play for the resolution. But I admire how absolutely silly it is and how much it just exists in general. Like, what are we doing here? This is a story about the characters being de-aged because of monster spiders, and also Daisy is on her deathbed for no reason. And it's fun. It is fun. It's worth at least one playthrough. And
I mean, it sounds crazy when you say it out loud.
Yeah, and I like the way that they incorporated the baby characters in an actual modern-day story rather than being just inexplicable extra bodies in matches or kart races or whatever.
Like, I'm never going to care about these baby forms of these characters, but I do appreciate when, like, that is the point, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, like, that's my thing. That's my philosophy is I'm never about character design over the actual characters themselves. And that's why Diddy having a millimeter of flesh and a DD pin didn't rankle me like it did some, or Tiny being aged up to a teenager isn't a deal breaker because it's still Tiny. It's still Diddy.
Right.
And like, you're not going to present two different iterations of the same character and I'll be like, ooh, I don't like that one. Like, Baby Mario is just less hairy Mario to me. So I like that they actually worked in the lack of hair into the story for once. And
they broke new ground with it.
They did. They certainly did. And, you know, playing Mario Tennis Fever, I think my final thought is, why is Camelot stuck in this cycle? They're good developers. They're capable of doing more than this. Why is all Nintendo having them do be just continually churning out tennis and golf games every console generation?
It is strange that that's just all we get from these guys who've proven they can make a good game.
I mean, they sell, and I'm sure Nintendo still wants them as just reliable entries in every console library, but
right.
I don't know. Like, I feel like let Camelot off the leash a little bit. Like, have them go hog wild. Like, clearly they're yearning to do more, given that they've been putting adventure modes in their sports games now for a while. So, you know, they are known for other RPGs. They are known for stuff besides golf and tennis. So explore that a little bit. I don't know. But again, my biggest go-to for this hypothetical was the 3D Donkey Kong game they proposed a long time ago. And
right.
We don't need that anymore. So I guess I don't care.
Throw them to the sharks.
Throw them to the spiders.
Oh.
Hashtag bring back the spiders. They did it.
Woo!
This has been a File 2 production.
Qué rico.